The ancients have mentioned in the beginning came sound. It was not the sound of voices or the sound of wind or the sound of waves, but the most primordial vibration of Om. The Mandukya Upanishad tells us that this one syllable and the sound of Om is the essence of the entire cosmos and existence. Within it lies the secret of creation, preservation, dissolution, and the eternal science beyond. So, in this video, we will journey through the sacred sound as a cosmic story where Brahma creates, Vishnu sustains, and Shiva dissolves, and the silence of Turiya that reveals the truth of our own consciousness. Every living being radiates a field of electromagnetic energy, often called the biofield, which extends around 5 to 8 feet from each body. Modern instruments like squid, magnetometers, and sensitive imaging systems have measured this field, showing that our hearts, brains, and the cells emit detectable electromagnetic signals. This energy field is not just mystical, it's a scientifically measurable presence that reflects our physiological and emotional states, offering a window into the deep connection between life and all its energies. The Upanishads, which are the ancient texts of history, describe the human being as reflection of the cosmos, connected through the Sapta Angas or the 7 limbs of existence. The head is symbolically linked to the heavens, the eyes to the sun and the moon, the breath is linked to the air, the heart is linked to the fire, the bladder is linked to water, the feet is linked to the earth, and the body is compared symbolically to infinite space. By mapping our structure onto the macrocosm, the sages reveal that we are not separate from the universe, but living embodiments of its elements and the rhythms. The sound of Om, where is the very first vibration, it rises effortlessly from an open throat, just as similar to the creation that bursts forth from the navel of Vishnu, which leads to the creation of Brahma. Represents the waking state, just as we open our eyes each morning to a new world. Brahma opens the cosmic eye of creation and expansion, reflecting every new idea, every seed that is sprouting, every child that is born, all are expressions of this first sound of existence. This is beautifully depicted in the pictures where Vishnu is shown lying on the serpent and from his navel Brahma is created. The symbol Om also shows in the bottom part a connection almost like coming out of the navel, depicting Vishnu and Brahma in a very symbolic manner. In our own lives, which is the beginning of Om, is the spark of beginnings and the neural firing of inspiration, the biological pulse of birth. Science calls it the creative explosion of possibilities. The Upanishads call it the waking self or the Vaishnavara, the universal experiencer of the outer world. The sound U, which follows flows forward, carrying us along. It is the middle sound connecting beginnings and creation to sustenance and preservation. This is exactly like Vishnu, the sustainer who tries to preserve what has been created and thus maintains balance of the entire universe. Vishnu is usually shown as resting on the serpent of infinity. His work is not to create nor to destroy, but to maintain harmony and to guide life towards their goals and aims in life. That is the reason when somebody has a lakshya or a higher aim, it is shown as Lakshmi at his feet. When you have the lakshya or the goal or a higher aim to achieve something, U represents the dream state. Dreams weave memories, imagination, and subtle impressions all together. just as Vishnu weaves cosmic order through Dharma. Life or creations are not just born, they are nurtured, protected, and sustained by this ongoing current. The Upanishads and the ancient texts explain Om as more than just a sound. It is a map of the consciousness. The or the Akara represents the waking state or connection to the physical world. The U or the Ukara is the dream state, the realm of subtle impressions. The Ma or the Makara is the deep sleep where individuality dissolves into unity. And beyond all sound lies the Amatra, the silence after the Om, which symbolizes Turiya or the pure awareness itself. Together, these four parts reveal Om as the key to understanding the journey of the self through all states of existence. The sacred sound of Om, which is also called as the Pranava, is made of four parts that mirror our states of consciousness. The Akara is associated with the sound that makes and is the waking life. Ukara, which is the second word or the sound U or the second word of the Om, is the dream world. And the Makara, the sound that Ma makes, is the deep sleep. And Amatra is the silence beyond the sound and is referred to as Turiya, the pure awareness. Together, these four complete the Omkara or the Pranava, showing us that the entire cycle of human experience from waking to silence is embraced within the vibration of the word Om. Sound Ma, which is the last of the Om, closes the lips. It is the sound of completion, of turning inward. This is Shiva, the dissolver, whose cosmic dance clears the field for overall renewal. Without dissolution, creation would be like an endless clutter. Without endings, there would be no space for new beginnings. Ma represents the deep sleep state, the Sushupti. In this state, individuality dissolves into oneness, desires vanish, and the seed of all experience lies dormant. It is a return to the womb of existence, where the self rests in blissful ignorance. Shiva's role is not destruction for cruelty's sake. This dissolution is compassion, returning forms back into the formlessness so new possibilities may arise. Science too recognizes dissolution as renewal. Cells die so new ones may grow. Forests are burned so ecosystems can regenerate. Neurons also prune themselves for clarity of thought. Ma is symbolic of the endings and the promise of renewal. Shiva's divine family is honored in every direction of India, each carrying its own cultural flavor. Lord Shiva himself is revered in the snow-covered peaks of the Himalayas in the north. Parvati, as the fierce and nurturing goddess Durga, is celebrated with grandeur in the east. In the west, Lord Ganesha is adored during the vibrant Ganesh Chaturthi festival. And in the south, Kartikeya, also known as Murugan or Subramanyam, is worshipped with deep devotion. Together, these traditions weave a sacred tapestry showing how the entire subcontinent celebrates the cosmic family of Shiva in unity and diversity. The Upanishads describe 19 mouths of consciousness: our senses, the actions, the vital energies, and the inner faculties, through which awareness flows into the world. The 5 senses, which are the vision, sound, smell, and taste, and touch, and the 5 actions we perform through our speech, through our hands, through our feet, and excretion and reproduction. and also driven by the five vital energies, which are also called as pranas, that include the prana, apana, vayana, samana, and udana, and the four antakaranas, that are the intellect, the ego, the mind, and the memories. All of these make the 19 modes of consciousness and the awareness that we carry around in our existence and in our lives. There is also something of deeper significance in all these layers, where there is subtle progression of nada, which is tied to memory, bindu, which is tied to the mind, and kala, which is time. Nada is the primal sound vibration and creation based on karmic memory in case it's a new life. Bindu is the concentrated point of creation, and Kala is the radiant spark of manifestation. Shiva is also referred to as Kala Bhairava. Together, they show how the infinite self is expressing through the 19 channels, reminding us that life itself is the play of sound, the seed of inventions, creativity, and the light emerging from pure awareness, which is Nada Bindu Kalatita, which is formless. Turiya in the ancient texts is the silence. It is not emptiness, but the fertile stillness from which sound arises and to which it returns. This silence is Turiya, the fourth, which is beyond waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Turiya is the pure consciousness, the eternal witness. It is not creation, not preservation, and neither dissolution. Yet it underlies all three. Just as silence makes music possible, Turiya makes it, like all the states of experiences, possible. Turiya is the self or the Atman, which is the ultimate reality. To realize this silence is to realize that we are not merely the body, not merely the mind, not merely the dreamer, but the awareness in which all these experiences shines. This single representation summarizes the entire Mandukya Upanishad. Neuroscience observes advanced meditators entering unique states where the brain shows both deep rest and high awareness. Psychologists describe the peak experiences of unity, timelessness, and transcendence. Sages of the Upanishads went further. This silence is not just a state, it is our very essence. So within Om, we have the entire journey. A is for Brahma's creation, U is for Vishnu's sustenance, Ma is for Shiva's dissolution, and silence is Turiya, the eternal self. This cycle is not just cosmic, it is within us. Each morning we wake to creation. Each night we dream in subtle sustenance. Each deep sleep we dissolve, and beyond all of it, we are the silent witness. To meditate on Om is to align with the heartbeat of the universe. To live Om is to see every beginning, every action, and every ending, and every silence as part of one eternal truth. This is the promise of the Mandukya Upanishad, that the syllable Om is nothing less than the key to the self and the cosmos itself. Let's continue a little further on this journey, now piercing through modern science and its recent discoveries. The Dodecahedron is one of the five perfect solids and holds a special mystery within its geometry. Each face is a pentagon whose interior angles measure 108 degrees. This number 108, as we have seen in all our videos, is not only central to Vedic traditions, the yoga malas and the cosmic ratios, but also reduces numerologically to the sacred number 9, symbolizing the wholeness. By contemplating the dodecahedron, we see how mathematics, geometry, and spirituality kind of converge, reminding us that the very structure of space carries within it the imprint of cosmic harmony. There is also a paper from NASA scientists and researchers mentioning our universe could be operating as a dodecahedron. There have been archaeological discoveries of various relics that have been found all over the world of a dodecahedron in various shapes and sizes. This shape is very sacred and holds an integral key to our existence that we'll explore in another video. Across the temples, manuscripts, and ancient cultures, a simple yet profound pattern repeats, a series of overlapping circles forming what is known as the flower of life. At first glance, it's a beautiful geometry, but when we look closer, it reveals a universal blueprint of life, growth, and the cosmos itself. The flower of life begins with a single circle, symbolizing unity and wholeness. As more circles overlap, they create the seed of life and the egg of life and eventually the flower of life pattern. This geometry is not random. It encodes the mathematics of creation, which is symmetry, proportion, and harmony. And from within it, shapes like the Platonic solids, the Metatron's cube, and the tree of life can all be derived. This pattern has been found etched into the temples of Osiris at Abydos in Egypt, carved into stone in ancient Mesopotamia, and painted in medieval European manuscripts. And in India, it appears in yantras and mandalas, symbolizing cosmic order. Across cultures, the flower of life is seen as a sacred symbol, not owned by one tradition but shared by the entire humanity. So, why is it called the flower of life? Because it reflects the cycles of nature and the way life unfolds. The seed grows into a flower which produces more seeds, an endless cycle of regeneration. Mathematically, the pattern mirrors the way cells divide, the spirals of the galaxies, and even the ratios of the musical harmony. It is a reminder that all life is interconnected through the same underlying design. In today's world, the flower of life inspires architecture, art, and meditation. For some, it is a symbol of spiritual awakening, and for others, it is a tool to visualize unity in diversity. Scientists studying the fractals, the golden ratios, and energy fields often find echoes of this pattern in their research. Whether we see it through the eyes of mystics or the mathematicians, the message is the same. Creation is structured by harmony. And the flower of life is more than geometry. It is a mirror of the universe, a key to understanding our connection with nature, and a reminder that life itself blossoms from unity. So every circle, every overlap whispers the truth that we are part of an infinite, interconnected design.